Okay, I'm here with Chris Tangonon, and we are going to walk through two examples of how you can show initiative on the developer side. So, on the developer side, you can do things like improving documentation, finding bugs in the code base, improving testing, refactoring parts of the code base, really anything that could improve the lives of developers or anything that would improve the health of the code base. And Chris actually has not only one but two examples of this in recent history for Excalidraw, which is a project that he has been contributing to. And so we're going to walk through those examples here. Chris, can you give us an overview of the original issue that you worked on that led to these opportunities to take initiative?
Yeah, sure thing. So if we go to the issue, um, you'll see right here that it's aligning elements in the group. So currently, I'm going to go ahead and pull up Excalidraw just to show you an example of what the issue entailed. So if we have elements, so for instance, each one of these rectangles is considered an element. There's certain layout actions that can occur. We can select all three elements and we can group them together. If I right click, I can group elements together. If I wanted to select all three of them, I can also align them in accordance to either the leftmost element. So if I click right here, it'll align it to the leftmost edge of the leftmost element, like so. I'll go ahead and press undo. If I wanted to align them centrally, vertically, I can go ahead and click this button right here and it'll align it vertically. And if I wanted to, let's say, align to the top, I could go ahead and align to the topmost item here.
Okay, I think
And
that's
then,
good. I think that's a good enough demo for that. So there's alignment, and there were two other categories. Can we go back to the original issue for a second, Chris?
yeah.
Okay, so there was
Uh,
alignment, and there were two other types of actions. What were the other two?
so there was distribution actions and also the grouping action, which I
Okay,
showed
so there was
earlier.
alignment, grouping, and distribution. So those three categories, I'm emphasizing them because that is an important detail for your next step, right? So
Yeah.
you worked on this issue, you submitted it, the PR got merged, so everything, happily ever after, right? The issue's done, but the story didn't end there for you, Chris. What did you notice in the code base that somehow opened up another chapter where you were able to show initiative?
Okay. So within the PR, um, you can see that uh, we do have like several accounts of dialogue where he had asked for additional features to be included within it. But at a certain point, he was okay with merging the PR. Um, so after the review, says great work. I don't have much to comment on other than some tactical nitpicks. And he appreciated that I had added tests for the specific aligned cases. Now, afterwards, I went ahead and followed up with him. And I
Actually,
said,
can we
hey,
just pause there for a second? It's actually really interesting. This is a very common thing that happens that I want to highlight here, which is you said that the maintainer made some comments. In a
mhm,
way, he made too many comments, like too many that in the end, even he admitted, like, we don't need to worry about all the stuff that I was suggesting. Your PR is good enough. Now, there's actually a treasure trove of information in those comments. Even that comment. What was the last thing you said? That there's some nitpicks on tactical nitpicks.
oh,
So
yeah, some tactical nitpicks. Yeah.
yeah, so that's actually that phrase in itself can open the doorway to a whole nother universe of opportunities where you could do extra things that weren't
Oh
needed
yeah.
for the issue, but the maintainer would probably appreciate it. And so I would say one of the core habits here of taking initiative on the developer side is just to pay attention, just listen to the feedback that you're getting and the comments that they're making. For example, in this case, even though the maintainer accepted the PR, you could potentially follow up with the maintainer afterwards and say, "Hey, like you mentioned, there might have been some other ways to
Mm.
improve the PR. Could you tell me
Yeah.
what those might be? Like, could you give me some hints? I'd love to work on that." And so, even though nobody's telling you to do that, you are showing initiative by essentially double clicking on something that the maintainer pointed out. Um, so I'll just flag that this is something that everybody can do. But let's get back to what actually happened for you, Chris. So, what did you end up doing next?
Okay, so what I ended up doing next was I went ahead and thanked him, and I did notice something while I was building test cases, is that there was a missing test file for distribute action. So I went ahead and posed the question. So I noticed that there was no test for distribute, and had asked, would I would like to collaborate and work with you on building out a distribute test if it'd be helpful to the team at all as my next step. In which case, he had said that he'd love for the distribute to be covered as well. And I went ahead and just said that I would go ahead and DM him over Discord and share a few examples of cases and conditions in which I was thinking of. Um, and we followed up over Discord
Okay.
from there.
So you noticed that there were tests for the other two categories, which were alignment and grouping, but
Mhm.
there were no tests for the distribute case.
No.
You asked about it. You said, "Hey, there was no tests for distribute. How about I write those tests?" And the maintainer gave you the thumbs up. And then, did you file an issue for that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you show us the issue that you filed?
Yeah. Sure thing. So, really kind of simple. I just said currently there are no tests for distribute. Establishing a test for distribute would ensure protection against future changes accidentally breaking distribution logic.
Great. And I see you submitted a PR for that. That was merged. And so you not only filed an issue and submitted your proposal for this, but you actually followed through to the end, solved it, submitted the PR, and that got merged.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
He
Okay.
kind of. Oh no, never mind.
I think that's probably a good stopping point for this, Chris. So you walked us through an example. Maybe just briefly walk us through the second example, because we mentioned there was two, right? We don't have to show a whole demo of that. But what was the second example where you ended up filing an issue?
uh, okay. So the second issue that I'd filed, it was actually directly or indirectly tied to this PR, in that it was tied to the distribute action as well. So in this particular issue, there was an instance with arrows. I can kind of show this example within the video. So if I were to play it, you can see that I draw a single element and then I compose some extra elements that basically builds out a flowchart. And what I did was I went ahead and checked and selected all the elements and then applied that distribute action. What you'd see is that that arrow, if we rewind back, that arrow doesn't follow along with the rectangle until that rectangle's moved. So there was to kind of shorthand how or why it happened was because there's a whole rendering state that occurs, and there were new updates that happened to the code base, and for whatever reason, distribute wasn't updated. Um,
Okay.
so
I think that's a good level of detail to go there. I think the thing I want to highlight here is that, like, I'm just trying to reverse engineer what students could do to also kind of improve their chances of finding bugs. Because this is an example of you found a bug in the code base, and so one thing I'm noticing is that you use the product, so
yeah,
that's number one, and then number two, it seems like you're pretty familiar with the code. Like you had, of course, you solved an issue that was related to this area. But is there anything else you did to help you kind of become more familiar with that part of the code base?
it's really collecting resources and understanding how the system or the component worked. By understanding that there are separate states within the drawing application, I could kind of tell that even though the arrow was is technically still bound to the rectangle, that it wasn't updating in a certain state that it should be.
Mm,
So
okay. So your ability to recognize the bug was dependent on your awareness of the different states in the code.
yeah,
Because you
yeah.
knew there were different states, you were kind of looking for, oh, how does the UI behave when I trigger this state versus that state? You wouldn't have known
Mhm.
to do that if you hadn't studied the different types of states in the code base. Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. All right. Well, there you go, folks. So we've walked through two examples of how you could show initiative on the developer side. Things you can do to improve the code base or make developers' lives easier. So the unit tests and just solving bugs. Um, so yeah, thank you, Chris.
Thank you.